Hello and welcome to Sky Meadow State Park. I am hiking on the North Ridge Trail up to the Appalachian Trail. I'm gonna hit the trail and then come back down. Gotten a few requests to make a video on vlogging and how to vlog on the AT and stuff like that. So that is this video, and I tried to make this at home and it just wasn't fun. So we're gonna hike in Sky Meadow State Park and learn how to vlog along the way. So for technology and equipment, you really don't need much. If you got a phone, I'd say you can do it. Any kind of smartphone, I'd say you can vlog. I originally thought of taking a GoPro, but the camera specs on the GoPro compared to newer phones on the market just are not that different, so it did not seem worth it to carry a GoPro plus the batteries. Also, the GoPro is definitely more stable, but I'm shooting this video hiking uphill on rocks, holding it with my hand, and I think it's good enough. So, you know, that's just my opinion, but I don't think you need a GoPro. Just use your phone. If you know how to use a mirrorless camera and have one, it could be worth it. If you're gonna stop and take those shots, they can be, you know, you're not gonna get anything like that on your phone. So consider that, but I wouldn't say you need a professional camera to vlog. You just need your phone. One thing you do need, one of these, tripod. This one is a Pedco UltraPod 3. And this is great because you can walk and talk with it. So hold on one sec. So right now I'm hooked up to the tripod instead. I don't think you can really tell the difference from when I was holding it with my hand, but maybe you can. It does seem a little smoother. But it's great for this and also those walk-by shots. These are a hassle in a lot of places, but in the end, when I was looking through footage, a lot of my favorite shots were those like really majestic walk-by shots in Maine and New Hampshire, anywhere with an open viewpoint. Just getting video of you walking past it or you walking towards it is worth the effort. And you don't need like a really high up tripod. Just something low to the ground is fine. You can prop it up on rocks. But yeah, you'll need some kind of tripod. Definitely recommend taking one. Other equipment, I'm not using a mic. You can bring a mic. I do have headphones. Hold on. Headphones, just regular headphones with the mic. You can see that flat piece right there. I think those are good enough, and they're multi-purpose because you can use them to listen to entertainment while you hike. So I would just take those, the wired headphones with a microphone. The external mic was a pain to set up. I never wanted to use it. And yeah, even if it's windy and the audio is terrible, I think it's okay. People don't really care that much. And if anything, looking back at the footage, I just thought it sounded cooler because it sounds more intense than actually probably really is. So I don't think you need an external mic. Let's see, mic, tripod. Last thing you'll probably need is some kind of storage, like way to store all your video files. I'd lump that into vlogging gear, mainly because you're taking way more video than you ever would if it was just you. So I used an SSD hard drive. I don't think a lot of people are using these, but I liked it because was 2 terabytes. Used it for the whole trip. And it wasn't those tiny SD cards that I would have been so scared to lose. And I didn't want to have to rely on backing something up to Dropbox or iCloud. I just never know when you're gonna have enough Wi-Fi or service to do something like that. I'd rather just have the physical transfer of files, so I just used the SSD drive with a USB-C cord. Last thing you'll need, and I forgot to mention this, was some kind of video editor. So what I used for the whole trip was Power Director. Worked great for me. I'd never used some kind of software like that before, so very simple to do all that kind of stuff. I know some people used iMovie, and that works too, but you will need some kind of video editor. And I use Power Director. There's plenty of tutorials on how to use Power Director. I'm not gonna go into that stuff, but yeah, you'll need some kind of video editor for the trip. And that's it. I didn't bring anything else equipment wise. It was literally just a tripod, the phone I already had, an SSD drive, and headphones with a microphone. That's it. I did see some people turn their trekking poles into selfie sticks, and that could be good if you want a wider shot. Like me right now, it's kind of up close and personal. I didn't want to bother with it, but you could tie your tripod to your trekking pole. But I think I picked this up from one of Jay Wanders Out, his videos. If you make it easier to vlog, you will vlog more. So I just shot mainly holding my phone, and as a result I had a lot more footage, because you're going to be tired. Some days you're not going to feel like doing it, and it's just easier to take your phone out and start filming instead of having to do this whole production every time you want to say something. So just my 2 cents on that. All right, so after you've gotten your tech squared away, biggest tip I can give you is to just get out and start filming. And the more footage you have, the better. Like the more stuff you have to work with in your video editor, the better the video will be. So take a variety of footage, stuff where you're speaking to the camera. You want to also take footage where you're showing people the trail. So I didn't start doing footage like this a lot, but I wish I did. So instead of having it facing me, like turn the camera out and film yourself walking, or film the trail in front of you and just kind of talk in the background. And it kind of lets you give your perspective, but also lets people see the part of the trail that they want to see. So sometimes when you're out, you're going to want to film yourself hiking by something. You've seen a lot of these shots in my videos and other people's, but this is kind of what it looks like in real time. I'm walking up to this trailhead, and this is a great spot to like just leave your camera, and I'm going to point it out facing that way just for a walk-by shot. And it's good because you can see the AT symbol there, the white blazes, so it's a good shot. You can see the blazes and everyone recognizes it. So that was a walk by. Definitely do a lot of those. They give you a lot more footage to work with. And they're just good pieces of film to have. If I only had footage that looked like this, it would be pretty boring. You can also just take portions of video where you're not speaking, and it's just video with the noise of the trail, and I like those a lot. For instance, there's a line here to Manassas Gap Shelter, and I'll just record a walk through. And then I'll actually make this the intro to the video. Like, I'll cut this in the video editor and put it as the intro clip. So here it is, just walking through with footsteps to the sign. And that's all it has to be. So there's the sign that I just walked past. We took our video, and now you got a ton of footage that you can work with. I did like to start and end the videos with a little bit of logistics, just so people know where you're at and where you're going. Especially at the end of the video. So at the end of all my videos, I put where I started and where I ended. And I didn't do this towards the beginning of my vlog, but about halfway I switched to that method, and it was good because some people aren't watching the whole vlog, they just want to see a little section. So being able to see how many miles you covered in a day and what shelters you started and ended at are helpful. You can also just say it at the beginning. But at the beginning of the day, I didn't often know where I'd end up, so I couldn't say where I started and where I ended. After you give your kind of logistics stuff at the beginning of the video, I don't think there's any like other tips that I can give other than just shoot what's interesting and what's happening day to day, like what you see, how you're feeling, people you met, places you went, shelters you saw. All that stuff is interesting, and you're going to want to remember it. And I am thankful that I did video so much, because there's no way I would have remembered all of that stuff about my hike, but now it's on video and I'll remember it forever. So yeah, after logistics, where you started, where you ended, no rules. Just film whatever is interesting and whatever you want to remember from that day. You will inevitably come across lots of people on the trail. I just didn't want to film other people. It was my vlog, kind of how I was feeling day to day. I didn't film a lot of people. If you are doing that, just make sure you're telling them you're doing a vlog and can you put them in a video. Just be nice about it and don't film people, especially at shelters. I think it's just a little odd if you're just recording people in shelters without telling them. So alright, so another piece that I learned pretty early that works really well with vlogging is make sure you have good B-roll. Like, I know I could just drone on all day in front of a camera. I learned pretty quickly that I could probably make a 20-minute video real easy, just talking. But those sections can get really hard to watch. So break up the sections where you're speaking with little clips of the trail where you aren't speaking. And that could be something as easy as this. Flip and you just walk. And you take that little clip, you cut it in your video editor, and you put it in between the sections that you're speaking, and it just breaks things up. Two other ones that I really like are just filming your feet as they're moving, and also the sky as you're moving. Both those can work really well, so I'll show you what those look like. So again, just like film down. Maybe if the shadow was behind me, it would look better. But as you're hiking, just film a few seconds of your feet, or a few seconds of the sky as you're moving. Also, you can borrow B-roll from other days and nobody will ever know. So you could honestly probably take B-roll for entire states in one day and keep using it, or just make a folder on your phone with just little B-roll clips. No one will ever know where it's actually from. Another thing that you can do is to capture good audio and good video at the same time, is to film water. And I did this all the time. I don't know if it got boring for people, but I always like doing it. And I'm in a spot right now where I'm hiking with water. Flip my camera and I'll show you the type of shot that looks really good. So something right there, but way closer. Like, get crazy close. Get really close. As close as you can. And get a shot like this. And you can even do wide lens for a few seconds, and that looks even better. And try and hold it really still. And that just gives you some really good footage and sounds. And I did that all the time. Hopefully you see water multiple times a day and you can get some footage like that. So by now you're probably getting the idea. Film a lot of stuff. Film a lot of different angles. Some shots of you, some shots not of you. B-roll. And you can mess up as many times as you want, because you can always edit these things. The footage for this video is probably like 40 minutes total, and I'll cut it down to whatever the actual length is, but don't be afraid to just keep running, keep rolling, and you can always edit things later. So I just got kind of out of the woods and it's starting to open up now. This is like the exact scenario where I would flip the camera, and yeah, this is much better. So I can actually capture the beautiful view that I'm seeing instead of just my face on the screen. And yeah, this is in Sky Meadows. It's beautiful up here. And if you look back up there over the hill, that's where the AT is. Kind of close to the Whiskey Hollow shelter, and I'm just headed back down. My car is parked down by those houses down there. Last real thing I wanted to talk about was video resolution and file size. So this was incredibly confusing for me when I started out, and I did wind up changing something. So pretty much what you're gonna have to do is just figure out what settings your phone can shoot in. So can your phone shoot in 4K or 1080p or what? If you don't know that, just look it up. Like, search your phone, go in your camera settings on your phone, look at the different ways you can shoot video. Once you shoot your video, you film all your content, you're gonna add that to your video editor, and that video, once you edit it and it's ready for YouTube, you're gonna have to render it within your app, and all that does is process the video together with all your edits, your music, your transitions, all that stuff. And at that point you also can choose what resolution you want that video to be. When I started, I was shooting in 4K and uploading in 4K, which is huge. Like, the files are huge, and I don't know if you can really even do that sustainably throughout the whole trip. So what I wound up doing was shooting in 4K, but then editing the video to 1080p, which is a smaller file size and not as great resolution, but it still looks really good. And that made my upload times better, and it also made my files smaller, so I didn't have to constantly move things back and forth. My last point about this, and this is a lot of this is trial and error. Like, go shoot video in all different settings, practice rendering video in different resolutions, see what you like, see how long it takes on your phone to upload them. But that's what I did. I shot in 4K, uploaded in 1080p. One thing I wish I did do more of was keep 4K clips. Even if I edited the whole video to 1080p, sometimes I would delete a lot of the 4K clips because they take up a lot of space. I wish I kept more of them because they look really good, and not really 4K clips of me talking, but 4K clips of, pretend this is Franconia Ridge or, you know, somewhere beautiful in Maine like the Bigelows. Keep 4K clips of that stuff. Like, don't edit that down to 1080p. Or you might have to edit it down to 1080p for the YouTube video, but keep a separate 4K file for your own records. Apologies if that's confusing. It's a confusing topic, so let me know if you have questions about that, but that is how I handled resolution and like video upload size. So at the same time that you're messing around with the resolutions on your phone, also check out your zoom. For example, this Samsung phone comes with preset zooms, and it has a 0.6, a 1x, 3x, and 10x. This is a 10 times zoom. I can get all the way in there, automatic zoom. I'm not, you know, doing that with my fingers. I'm just clicking the 10x button. That is 3x, 1x, and 0.6. I like the wide because it captures the settings much more, but yeah, just, you know, take a look at your camera, look at the settings, the lens settings, and get used to using them for shots, so you're not messing around with it when you're actually on trail. All right, I am getting close to the parking lot. I'm gonna wrap up the video. The last piece of advice, and this could be the most helpful, is just an organizational tip. On my phone and also on my external hard drive, I would make a folder for every single day on the trail. For me, it was like starting day 1, 2, 3, 4, right? And then at the end of the day, even if I wasn't doing any video editing, I at least took all of the content, the videos and the pictures, and put them into that day. It can be so easy to forget where you took something, and just by putting it in the folders on my phone, just helped me keep everything organized. So even if I was editing a video a week and a half later, I knew all of the content belonged to that day because it was in the folder. So biggest tip I can give you for that is to create folders on your phone for every single day that you're hiking, and put the content in there at the end of the day, even if you're not editing it, and that will help keep you organized and you remember exactly where each picture and video came from, and everything is in order. All right, I hope this has been helpful. I'm gonna head back to the car and get out of here, but I'm sure there's things that I'm missing. So let me know in the comments if you have any questions. I will 100% answer them, and even if I gotta do a follow-up video on something specific, I will. But take care. Thanks for watching, and happy trails.